Hello everybody, it's your boy TapMana, and today we have another ASMR deck build. Our commander is General Ferrous Rokiric, and the name of our themed deck today will be Ferrous Day Off. Let's get right into it. Welcome back everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Happy holidays. I tried to make this as cool as possible. We have our magenta matte sleeves that we'll be opening up to sleeve our red and white styled Boros decks, or Boros deck, as I should say. So, without further ado, now instead of laying out all the cards to try to fill into the frame, it never seems to work that way. So, I divided up the piles for sections, and the sections we'll be covering today: the equipment, ramp, damage, direct and indirect, removal, and utility. Fresh new sleeves. You know I had to go with magenta because this is Boros. There we go. Great sleeves. They don't look red at all. They look very pink, very magenta. We have our card box here. We'll adjust for the video and get right into it. Now this is heavy equipment, heavy artifact with plenty of damage and removal. So you can see that General Ferrous has hexproof. Hexproof and monocolored. Has hexproof from monocolored, and whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red and white golem artifact creature token. I thought this was a very obscure card, and I really wanted to make a cool commander deck out of it. So today we are going to be creating or putting together a commander deck that I built, and then choosing a winner for our last ASMR deck build at the end of the video. So if you want to be a part of this giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe, comment, and like the video. For the comments, feel free to share any thoughts. I'm going to be doing non-ASMR deck builds as well. But for now, we're going to keep on this formula. So thanks everyone for joining. And again, I'm hoping everyone's having a good week, good holiday so far. So the first thing we're going to go over is equipment. Equipment is the fanciest and the coolest stuff, so we'll go over that step. We have a foil commander's plate. This will give any creature, or specifically our commander, a +3/+3, and it has protection from each color that's not in your commander's color identity. So this would just help anyone out, really. Put that in any deck as long as it's not facing the same colors. But when I was thinking of the name, I was literally staring at General Ferrous Rokiric, thinking, what do I name this deck? What am I doing here? And I just realized that General Ferrous won't really be doing much attacking itself. It'll be creating golems for every multicolored spell. So before anyone takes out General Rokiric on the first round, you'll have a few golems to equip with some of these cool artifacts. So the next artifact we have here is the Basilisk Collar. Equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink. It's a 1-drop and it equips for 2. I didn't go over the equip cost for the commander's plate. It's a 1-drop, and you can equip a commander for it for 3, or you can equip it for 5 for a regular creature. The next artifact equipment we have is Leonin Bola. It's a 1-drop, equipped for 1, and you can equip creature as tap and attach, or one, sorry. Equipped creature has tap and unattach Leonin Bola to tap target creature. There we go. So a little utility there. Our next one will be a Viridian Longbow, and equipped creature has tap. This creature deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and you can equip for 3. So essentially it creates a prodigal sorcerer out of the creature itself, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Okay. Next card. Sure Strike Trident. Equipped creature has first strike and tap, unattached Sure Strike Trident. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target player. It's a drop for 2 and equip for 4. I'm gonna just look at that art right there by Ben Thompson. Kind of has a Dan Frazier feel to it. Just very nice. Not trying to compare in any way to Ben Thompson. I really love the art for what it is. It just kind of has this other vibe from the 90s for me. So beautiful stuff. Thank you. All right. Forak Battle Horns. Equipped creature has trample. Can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Costs 2, but it only equips for 1. Very nice. Please feel free to let me know how you like this format of the piles and a different setup. I'd like to know what y'all think. Gold Vein Pick. The next equipment we have is a 2-drop, and it equips for 1, and equipped creature gets a +1/+1. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. I'll be sure to grab you a treasure token there too. I was having trouble finding golem tokens for General Ferrous Rokiric, but I have another pile that I'm going to look through, so we'll check it out from there. The next equipment we have here is Spectre's Shroud. Equipped creature has a +1/+0. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card from his or her hand. 2-drop for 1 equip. So you can see each equipment is definitely pulling its weight in for its work. The next card will be a Batterbone. It's a 2-drop living weapon. Equipped creature gets a +1/+1, has vigilance and lifelink, and equips for 5. Big card right here. This is a really good one. The Vectis Gloves. 2-drop, equipped for 2. Equipped creature gets a +2/+0 and has artifact Landwalk. How many decks are you playing against that has artifact land, or has artifacts, right? Exactly. Most. Now, the devotion in this deck is 26 white mana and 36 white mana and 32 red. So pretty even as we go. Is this stuck to another card? Oh my goodness. Yep. I'll check those cards. I think that was a one-off. The Seraphic Greatsword. What it does is a 2-drop artifact, 1 white, 1 colorless. Equipped creature gets a +2/+2, and whenever equipped creature attacks the player with the most life or is tied with the most life, create a 4/4 white angel creature token that's flying, that's tapped, and attacking that player. Equipped for 4. Maw of the Skyclaves. When Maul of the Skyclaves enters the battlefield attached to target creature you control. It gets a +2/+2, has flying and first strike. It equips for 2 white and 2 colorless, and it costs 1 white and 2 colorless to drop. The next card we have here is a Holy Avenger. It's a 1 white, 2 drop. Equipped creature has double strike. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, you may put an aura card from your hand onto the battlefield attached to it. I don't actually think I have any aura cards in here. It's just straight up artifact equipments. So feel free to upgrade the deck if you have any cool auras. I'm trying to think of one off the top, but nothing coming to mind. Then we have a Forbear's Blade. Equipped creature gets a +3/+0, has vigilance and trample. Whenever it dies, you can attach the Forbear's Blade to target creature you control. It drops for 3 and equips for 3. Alright, now that's not all for the artifacts. We have some other stuff that goes with it. We have our Bronze Guardian, which is 1 white, 4 colorless to drop. It's a golem with double strike, ward 2. Other artifacts control have ward for 2. Bronze Guardian's power is equal to the number of artifacts control. Its toughness is for 5. I figured with all the equipment and few other artifacts we have, this would be really handy. Plus, it's also a golem, and General Ferrous is friends with golems. Okay, Fighter Class. Fighter Class is an enchantment. When an ETB, search a library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand. Level 2, equip abilities cost 2 less to activate. Level 3, whenever a creature you control attacks, up to 1 target creature blocks it, this combat a fable. You can see why I put that in there. So I've planned out doing this opening. It's about 3:30 a.m. where I am. Maybe 4, I'm not sure. And I notice it's much more quieter. I can hear myself being so much more quieter, and it's different. So stay tuned for a non-ASMR deck build if you also want to be a part of that as well. I'll be giving away that deck as well. Next card we have here is a SRAM, Senior Edificer. 2/2 legendary Dwarf Advisor. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. So the 14 equipment in here can't go wrong. This card's major key next. Arden, Intrepid Archaeologist. 2/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of auras and equipment to equipment you control to target permanent or player. Any. So useful. And as promised, I'll be going over my own personal decks too. Now I won't be giving those away, of course, but hopefully you guys will like a little insight into my own Magic realm. The next card, Armored Skyhunter. It is for 3 colorless and 1 plains for 4 total, 3/3 flying. Whenever Armored Skyhunter attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put an aura or equipment card from among them onto the battlefield. If an equipment is put into the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control. Put the rest of those cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. I thought it'd be useful with all the artifacts we have going on, so showing you the synchronicity. Then we have Akiri, Fearless Voyager. Alternatively, I guess you could also use this as your main commander if you wanted. It's a 3/3, and whenever you attack a player with one or more equipped creatures, draw a card. You may pay 1 white to unattach an equipment from a creature you control. If you do, tap that creature. It gains indestructible until the end of the turn. Right? Draw a card, protection. It could work. I really like Ferrous Day Off, though, so that's why I went with it. Quick Smith Rebel 2017 promo card foil. 3/2 for 4 total, 1 red, 3 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, target artifact control gains tap. This artifact deals 2 damage to target creature or player for as long as you control this. Let's just add a little bit more stopping power. Alright. Nahiri, Heir of the Ancients. This is a Planeswalker. 1 red, 1 white, 2 colorless. Totally good for this deck because with its +1 ability, you create a 1/1 white core warrior token. You may attach an equipment to it. With this -2, you can reveal a warrior or equipment card from among them, or reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a warrior or equipment card from among them and put it into your hand. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Its -3 is it'll deal damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to twice the number of equipment we control. So imagine just getting 3 or 4 out, right? You're board wiping there. So great stuff. Not board wiping, but dealing significant damage. So that was our synchronicity for equipment. The next step we'll go to is mana ramp, or just ramp in general. Yes, I hope everyone's having a great week so far. I know I said that a couple times, but I just want to interact with you if you're jumping in late. Again, my name is TapMana. I like to do ASMR deck builds and pack openings. Well, regular pack openings, but deck builds have started out as ASMR deck builds. And almost everything I post, I give away. Or I try to. So, unless if I say it's a private opening, you can bet that I'll make it a giveaway. So, we have an Iron Mirror as our next card. It's for 2 colorless. So 1/1, and you can tap it for a red mana. So, got a little mana ramp right there. Boros, Cluestone. It's an artifact for 3 colorless. You can tap it for 1 red and 1 white. Or you can tap a red and a white into it and sacrifice it to draw a card. Just in case we're caught up lacking there. Then we have a Thunder Totem, which you can pay for 3. You can tap a white into it, or you can tap it for a white, or you can tap 2 white and 1 colorless, and it'll become a 2/2 white spirit artifact creature with flying and first strike until the end of the turn, possibly making contact with one of your opponents for some decent damage. The next is our Fire Diamond. I couldn't find the Marble Diamond, but we didn't need it with the ratio that I built, so this comes into the battlefield tapped, and it gives you a red mana for 2 colorless. Then we have, oops, look at me, I'm already destroying things. Okay, we have recovered, folks. Next is our foil Commander Sphere from Commander Legends. You can tap it to add 1 color of any color into your commander's identity, and sacrifice it. You can draw a card. Next is our Boros Signet. You can tap 1 into it for a red and a white, and it only costs 2. Have you ever held a Boros Signet? There's a weight to it that belies its size, a weight of strength and pride. Love it. And Gift of the Estates, which is actually a sorcery, so that lets you go and get more planes if your opponent controls more lands than you, which will likely happen because you're playing Boros. We didn't ramp it up. No Jessica's Will in here, no search library cards really that go straight for land, but I think the race should work out well. So we've gone over our equipment and our mana ramp. We got some removal to go over, some direct and indirect damage, and utility. So let's go with our removal, because General Ferrous is enjoying his day off. And we have a beautiful foil borderless austere command from Commander Legends, which lets you destroy all artifacts, all enchantments, or all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less, or 4 or more, and you choose 2. So make that of what you will. That's real removal right there. Then we have Mizzium Mortars, which is a sorcery for 1 red, 1 colorless, and it'll deal 4 damage to target creature you control, but it does have an overload cost that lets you choose each creature you don't control. So that's what we're aiming for when playing that card, is playing its overload cost. We have Bonfire of the Damned next, which is another sorcery, mythic. It's 1 red and then 2x, and it'll deal X damage to target player and each creature he or she controls, but it has a miracle cost for X and 1 red. If you draw this card, you may cast this card for its miracle cost if you draw the first card you drew this turn. So pretty neat stuff. If you're late into the game and you draw it, I just say play the miracle cost. Why not? Then we have Rip Apart, which is for Boros, 1 white, 1 red. You can choose one. It'll deal 3 damage to target creature or player, or destroy target artifact or enchantment. We are not lacking in that department in this deck. Then we have an instant Fateful Absence. For 1 white and 1 colorless, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Its controller investigates. They create a clue token. You can tap 2 to sacrifice it to draw a card. And then we have Slash the Ranks. Destroy all creatures and planeswalkers except for commanders. So you'll protect Ferrous, or if you choose Akiri, in other words. This will work great. That was our removal. I went over it a little fast, but hopefully you caught through that pretty well. Bam. Let's do a little quick overview of these cards saved. Yeah, when you have them piled together, they look really good like this. Nice. Look at that Commander's Plate foil. All right, move on, folks. All right, and again, if you stay tuned till the end, I'll be announcing the winner of our last deck, which was Sarah's beach party. So hang tight. So we've gone over removal. I guess we can go over some damage and utility. Let's go over damage. Whoops. Hit the camera there. You probably saw the wobble. So for damage, we have our Court of Ire foil. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, Court of Ire deals 2 damage to any target. If you're the monarch, it deals 7 damage to that player or permanent instead. Hold your tongue, lest you burn it. Whoops. Almost moved Robert. Almost moved Ferrous again. Being clumsy here. New setup, that's all. Just a new setup. Bam. And I just want to say real quick, thank you so much to everyone who's been commenting and being a part of the channel, being a part of the mana pool. I greatly appreciate you. The channel's been growing and bringing me closer and closer to following my dreams. So, thank you so much. The only thing I can do, the best thing I can do to tell you thank you is to try to keep it up. So, that I shall do. The next card we have is a Lantern Flare. It's for 1 white, 1 colorless. It's an instant, but it also has a cleave cost for white and red and X. Lantern Flare deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. The brackets for the cleave cost is X is the number of creatures you control. So if you don't pay the cleave cost, it'll only be for that number. Then we have a Grape Shot, Strixhaven, a Mystical Archive rare. It'll deal 1 damage to any target. Now that 1 damage does not seem like much for 2, but player cards, right? And it'll storm off. So you can copy it for each spell cast before this turn. So, or before it this turn, so it has to be that turn. Then we have a Shock, Strixhaven, uncommon, just deals 2 damage to any target. I unfortunately ran out of Strixhaven lightning bolts and couldn't find my regular lightning bolts, so if you have it, then upgrade it. Upgrade the deck, please. Boros Charm. For 1 white and 1 red, this instant will let you deal 4 damage to a target player or planeswalker, or permanents you control will gain indestructible until the end of the turn, or target creature will gain double strike till the end of the turn. So that was just in there because of the damage. Laurel Command has damage and utility. I'm not going to go over all of that text. Or why the heck not? I mean, it lets you choose 2, and you're paying 1 red, 1 white, and 3 colorless. And it'll get you a 3/2 white and red spirit creature token. Creatures you control get a +1. Creatures you control get a +1/+0 and gain indestructible and haste until the end of the turn. And then Lorehold Command will deal 3 damage to any target, and target player will gain 3 life. Or sacrifice a permanent and draw 2 cards. That's actually really useful. Never actually read all that before. That's great. Pretty sure I did it. Maybe I forgot. Who knows? Foundry Helix. An additional cost to cast a spell. Sacrifice a permanent. It'll deal 4 damage to any permanent. It'll deal 4 damage to any target. If the sacrifice permanent was an artifact, you gain 4 life. It's good stuff. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a permanent. Foundry Helix deals 4 damage to any target. If the sacrifice permanent was an artifact, you gain 4 life. With all the artifacts you have, you'll be able to afford it, I promise. Next card will be Response and Resurgence. This will deal 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. And then Resurgence is more on the utility side, where creatures you control will gain first strike and vigilance until the end of the turn. And after this main phase, there's an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. An unexpected turn of events with that card. That's the that's the sorcery side of this dual spell card. Deafening Clarion. Choose 1 or both. It'll deal 3 damage to each creature, and creatures you control gain lifelink until the end of the turn. 1 white, 1 red, 1 colorless. Ravnica, rare. Totally worth the rare slot, in my opinion. Semi-utility to utility. Moving forward now. Last section, folks. I hope you've been enjoying this video so far. And if you guys are celebrating the holidays, I hope you're at home with family. And if you don't have any family around, then I hope you're feeling the warmth and the joy. So I'm sending you all the good vibes, I promise. Anyways, moving forward, we have a Deflecting Palm. It's 1 white, 1 red instant. The next time a source of your choice will deal damage to you, this turn, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals damage to that source's controller. So deflect that damage and hit him right back. Voila. Master Warcraft. This is a really cool instant. So you cast this only before attackers are declared. You choose which attackers attack this turn, and then you choose which attackers block this turn and how those creatures block. So for a 4-drop, which is 2 white or 2 red, or a mix of 2 both and 2 colorless, You can control basically an entire attack phase. So, excellent. Then we have an Angel Fire Ignition. It's a sorcery. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. Gains Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste until the end of the turn. And that's for 1 white, 1 red, and 1 colorless. But my favorite part about this card, aside from that magnificent art, is probably the fact that it's flashback. Look at this art. This person is flying on a freaking swan with flaming hooves and wings. Jeez, that's freaking awesome. It has Angel Fire. And the most interesting card in this deck, in my opinion, Share the Spoils. When it enters the battlefield or an opponent loses the game, exile the top card of each player's library. During each player's turn, that player may play a land or cast a spell from among the exiled with Share the Spoils. They may spend mana as though there were mana any color to cast that spell. When they do, exile the top card of their library. Look at all those players just arguing with each other. I wanted this in this deck specifically to throw a little chaos in there, because I love adding a little chaos. Alright, folks. We're down to just utility, and utility will count for creature count as well. So, and then I'll go over some non-basic lands, and then I'll announce the winner of our last ASMR deck build. We have Brea's Apprentice. It's for 1 red and 2 colorless. It's a 2/3 Artificer. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. You can tap this creature to sacrifice an artifact to choose one, which is exile the top card of your library. And until the end of the turn, you can play that card, or target creature gets a +2/+0. Coercive Recruiter. You've seen me put this in almost every deck that I has read, and I'll keep doing it. It's a great card. And this one's foil too. It's for 1 red, 4 colorless. Whenever this recruiter or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, gain control of target creature until the end of the turn, and untap that creature until the end of the turn. It gains haste and becomes a pirate until the end of the turn. In addition to its other types. The Venerable Warsinger. Great card. Excellent card in my opinion. It's a 3/3 Vigilance Trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature card with a converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard where X is the amount of damage Venerable Warsinger dealt to that player. Bam. So get that card equipped ASAP. Trample, Vigilance, come on. Layla, the Blade Reforged. It's a 2/2 Legendary Spirit Warrior. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your library and or graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Layla. Thank you so much for watching my videos, everyone. You're amazing. I have Rem Corrales, Stalwart Slayer. 1 white, 1 red, 1 colorless. And again, I think this is the same person that was on the other card. It's the person on the swan, on the actual swan. Flying Haste, Human Knight. If a spell will deal damage to you or another permanent you control, prevent that damage. If a spell will deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, deals that damage +1 instead. So you're preventing damage to yourself and increasing damage to others. Dual-sided card with Plarg, Dean of Chaos. Augusta, Dean of Order. But we want to play Augusta, Dean of Order, as other tapped creatures control get a +1/+0, so their attacks are just getting buffed. Untapped creatures of control get a +0/+1, leaving them better for defense. And whenever you attack, untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. See what it did there? I know, it's good stuff. Then we have our Boros Reckoner. It's a 3/3. Whenever Boros Reckoner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player. Boros Reckoner deals first strike until the end of the turn, and then you can just pay that cost to do so. Oh, we're narrowing down our cards, folks. All of these are creatures and utility cards here. Archon of Emeria. To slow down your opponents, you'll definitely need the space to do so. You'll definitely want to slow your opponents down while you slowly ramp up. So Archon of Emeria will make it so each player can't cast more than one spell each turn, and non-basic land your opponents control either or enter the battlefield tapped. So this will only slightly slow you down if you know how to play the deck right, and there are room for improvements. So just saying, that card's really useful. The next card is our Blade Historian. It's for 4-drop for red or white of any combination, and attacking creatures you control at double strike. It's a 2/3. Enough said. Who wouldn't want that in their Boros attack deck, right? The next card we have here is our Radiant Scroll Wielder. Instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. If a spell was cast this way from your graveyard, exile it instead. So this is just a good way to get stuff back from your graveyard and at least get lifelink out of it if you've been dealing enough damage to take some damage to make you a target. Then we have a beautiful, beautiful card I've had. This is a card I've had in my collection when I started recollecting last year. So this is a Showcase Foil Chandra's Incinerator, and it's a 6/6 elemental for 1 red and 5 colorless. The spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn. Trample. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, it'll deal that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. So, copying and redirect. And then we just have our flyer here. Just flying defense, Boros Dragon. It's an adult borderless gold dragon from Adventures of the Forgotten Realms. For 4/3, flying lifelink haste. So, not so much utility as much as defense, something that you can equip. Same thing for the free jam regent. So 4/4 improvise flying. So you can tap your artifacts to help cast it. It's for 2 red and 4 colorless. And then you can tap 1 colorless and 1 red to give it a +2/+0 until the end of the turn. So it has fire breathing plus, essentially. Yep. Now those were all our 62 spells so far. So for the non-basic lands, I've added a beautiful borderless Temple of Triumph, also from my beginning days of recollect, or when I get back into Magic, essentially. It's for red and for white, and it comes into the battlefield tapped, but when it does, you get to scry 1. A beautiful foil Sundown Pass. Oh my goodness, look at that. Congratulations to whoever's going to win this. This is just stunning. Whenever it enters the battlefield tapped, unless if you control 2 or more lands, taps for a white or for a red. That's sleeved up right there for you. We have a Secluded Strip, which taps for white, or you can cycle a white for it to draw a card. Windbrisk Heights Hideaway. This land enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. And you can tap it for white, or you can tap a white and tap it, and you can play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if you attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn, which, with all the golems and tokens and all the equipment, you certainly can do that. Cave of the Frost Dragon. If you control 2 or more lands, it'll enter the battlefield tapped. You can tap it for white, or for 4 colorless and 1 white, and it'll become a 3/4 white flying dragon until the end of the turn. Next is a Boros Garrison. Enters battlefield tapped, and when it does, return a land you control to your hand, but when it untaps, you can tap it for both a red and a white at the same time, for a total of 2 mana. Then then we have our Evolving Wilds, just to help you look for that right mana for starting out early. Then we have a Forgotten Cave, which is the red version of the Secluded Strap. You can, comes into the battlefield tapped, you can tap it for a red, or you can just cycle it to draw a card. And our Axe Guard Armory. Enters the battlefield tapped, but gives you a white, or you can tap 1, 2 red and a white, sacrifice it, search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, and then put it into your hand and shuffle your library. Well, there you have it, folks. The rest of the lands should be filled out. I believe it's 14 red and 15 white because of the devotion difference. And as promised, we're going to be announcing our winner. Congratulations, Frosty Boy, for commenting, liking, and subscribing to the channel. You're going to be the winner of our Sarah's Beach Party deck that you commented on the last video. To everyone else, thank you so much. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe if you already haven't for this video. And you'll be added to the draft for the next giveaway of our ASMR deck builds. Sorry, I just ran out of breath there during the outro, and I'm not going to re-record that. But I just want to say thank you to everyone. Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a great holiday. And be on the lookout this weekend. I may do a bonus video, so why not? Anyways, stay tuned for more. I'm going to end my turn there, and I pass.